All right, YouTube, this is The Truth Man. The channel is the No Metrics, No Simping Off Subject channel. Y'all got to excuse the hair. Looking pretty wild. We was out here in the sun working on these cars, trying to get these old cars of mine right. But I promised one of my subscribers that I would talk about this because often religious people mislead you in terms of how this really goes, and a lot of them wouldn't agree with me, but I don't care. I don't care. You haven't, wait, hold on. Wait, what's up with my collar? You have an unfair advantages over people due to manipulation, which comes from mishandling the scriptures and not properly understanding. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the comment. It's a highlighted comment. It's from Charisma 808. Shout out to you. Now this is very important because y'all need to understand this. Y'all need to understand because you have a whole lot of wide range of philosophies on YouTube, and I want to tell you that, you know, let's come clean. Like, when the way these women are right now, being a godly man, a God-fearing man, and dealing with them is going to be extremely difficult because you're going to have the church telling you one thing, the scriptures, prophets telling you something else, and you just going to have to make your decision how you're going to go about it. The Most High don't give us 2 million sperm cells a day for them to just sit in our balls and rot. Excuse me if you know what I mean. But there are ways that you go about things that will make you a whoremonger or an adulterer. So let's get that cleared up before we get into this and this comment. Number one, if you are paying for a woman's OnlyFans, or you are paying women up front and just getting what you want and just not even worrying about it, from an earthly standpoint and how these women are, I can't knock you. But from a spiritual standpoint, if you paying these women, like if you a sugar daddy, or we're gonna go deep on this, or you are a pay for it, like you going on seeking arrangements or these dating sites, or you messing with other men's wives, you gonna fall into them categories of whoremonger, which means promotion of whores, and adulterer, which you messing with another man's wife. You should never mess with another man's wife because you can have as many wives as you so choose. That's just scriptural. That's just biblical. Solomon had 700. And like Chris B said on his short, he said they try to ignore the polygyny and having concubines in the scripture, like when the scriptures say that, because they want to cater to women. And we just had an interesting conversation while we were picking up the parts for the cars. And the woman, she admitted, once again, they all say that they don't want to share. I said, you being like those white folks. No disrespect to white people. That's European. Monogamy is not even, that's not an African practice. That's not a native. That's not a practice of the natives or any of the tribes that we came from. I don't want to say why they were practicing monogamy because a lot of, and I'm going to get back to pearly things later, because somebody told me she's at it again. She's at it again. And it's crazy how, off subject, I was told that lead attorney is a Libra. Man, you don't act like us. But in the dark, that's why you tried to be fair with Pearly, because we about fairness. You tried to be fair with somebody that you should have been just with. It's kind of off subject. We're going to deal with that later. But let's read the comment, and I'm going to respond to it. And I already know everybody ain't going to agree with me, but I know the truth on this. The truth is that originally men were supposed to be fruitful and multiply. And the world was supposed to have way more people in it than it does, but you know, the devil done took over, some things, and the curse is in the land. So Charisma 808 said this: I would like to hear your perspective on fornication. On one hand, from my understanding, God only looks at sex as pure when you are in a marriage. On the other hand, however, TF, does this apply to single men with their S together? Question mark. These days, getting married can be a curse, and I would never marry just to get consistent sex. And you ain't gonna get consistent sex. Married men get the least, that's why they be watching porn, but who's keeping score? How should a man of God that is single and on his purpose deal with this? Is consensual sex between man and woman that like each other still sinful nature? And to digress, what about soul tie? We're going to deal with all of this one by one. If a man is doing what he's supposed to do, why can't he enjoy women sexually without a pastor saying asexual immorality? We're going to get to that too. But then I asked my pastor, okay, then where are the wives? Please speak on this topic. Okay, let's go back to it. I would like to hear your perspective on fornication. Fornication is basically when two people have sex without commitment. Neither one of them are married or committed in marriage, but they have sex without commitment. See, that makes it fornication, and that makes it immorality, and we're gonna get to it because that ties in with some of your other questions. On one hand, from my understanding, God looks at sex as pure when you are in a marriage. On the other hand, how does this apply to single men with their S together? Listen, you have to exercise self-control. And here's why. You exercise self-control until you vet these women out and you don't become impatient. Listen, I'm gonna tell you like this. You don't want to jag off. But sometimes some guys, that's their best bet. So you want to utilize self-control. You don't want to become one flesh with someone who you're not committed to just to meet that urge, because what happens is your energies will transmute, and if it's the wrong person, you just never know how that's going to end up. So you gotta be more patient. You gotta use self-control, and when you can't control yourself no more, if you still don't have concubines and or wives, you got to take matters into your own hands. No pun intended. No pun intended. So you don't want to mess with nobody's wife. Some of these women, they'll be like, well, me and him getting divorced, but then when he put the clamps on him, now, well, just tell him we friends and stuff like that. That stuff be happening, y'all. Trust me. Trust me. So don't deal with nobody's wife at all. If you tell her like this, well, I don't want to deal with nobody's wife. Because even if in some loopholes she might have grounds to remarry, but it's not many cases where a married woman can remarry, especially if the divorce is of any fault of her own, even a smidgen. Anybody that get with her, that's gonna be bad energy. It's gonna be, yeah, you might get your rocks off and first stuff right, you gonna feel good, but ain't no blessing gonna be tied to you. This is why you need to use self-control when you actually choose to put your tool in somebody. Now, it says, on one hand, from my understanding, God looks at sex as pure when you're in a marriage. So let's deal with that. Even when you in a marriage, sometimes sex ain't pure. I'm gonna show you a situation. If the wife is messing with another man, yeah, you're not gonna, the Most High ain't gonna judge you. you know, but there are some loopholes. If you are married to somebody, you don't even have to have, and I would encourage you, don't get no marriage license. Because marriage is for you to be accepted with God. That's his thing. When you get a marriage license, now you're putting the state in your business. So you gotta just basically, if you choose to upgrade, because that's what it should be, a woman should be your concubine first. If you choose to upgrade her to wife status, then you get on paper, you agree, y'all put y'all stuff on paper, you protect yourself, and you take it to a notary public. I done researched all of this, I know. So, but don't ever get a marriage license. If she say, well, we got to get a marriage license, she telling you right then and there, she ain't for you. Because if it was about being with you, she would just do it your way. That's another thing. We got to start as men dealing with women who are with us, who respect us, who are attracted to us, and who want to help us. All the rest we need to divorce. We need to stop dealing with it. Because what eventually happened in today's world is affecting them. You gonna end up in some type of mess. Either you gonna be fighting and shooting with some dude, you gonna be dealing with the police. If she's not with you, you need to get rid of her before something worse happens. Try to get along with her if you got kids with her. But don't, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, I'm a good read of this, man. You could just feel when stuff is starting to escalate. And you don't want to be in that position just for some sex. So marriage is pure. That's how you get the Most High's thumbs up on your sex, is by vetting them out. If you gonna make her your concubine, you explain to her what that is. Ask her, is she willing to be down with you like that? Explain to her that, don't lie to her. If you gonna practice polygyny, let them know that up front. And if they ain't with it, just stop talking to them. Because again, you better off taking matters into your own hands. No pun intended. So, the next thing he said is, on the other hand, how TF does this apply to single men with their bleep together? It's good that you got your stuff together. If anybody that don't, go ahead and get it together. Don't listen to people who want to judge you by where you at. Get where you need to be. Focus on getting where you need to be. Don't listen to no criticism that want to keep you right where you at. If you broke, if you don't have to file bankruptcy, if you on your way to bankruptcy, that's not the end. Work your way out of it. If you got to give cars back, if you got to give a house back, whatever you got to do to be able to build your cash reserves, do it. And anybody that's talking down on you, that's not down for you, they making themselves ops/enemies. So we don't worry about them. So if you got your stuff together, it's good. But when you deal with concubines, if you make her your concubine, then you basically making her somewhat your responsibility. How you choose for her to help you, man. We don't do this like pimps, man. Nothing against pimps. You can learn a lot from them in terms of the mindset that you need to have. So, but that's why I still listen to them. Milwaukee's own Pimp and Ken be having some great advice in regards to women. A lot of women don't want to hear that, but listen. You had to be a simp to go down there, get married. Oh, shoot. I can't see myself. Well, we're going to wrap this up soon. To get married, and I ain't got my cord. Get a marriage license. Next thing he said, these days getting married can be a curse. Yes, it can. And in most cases, that's what it is. Because when you listen to your average pastor, you brought up pastors. They don't know. Like Chris B say, they don't know. They ignore the facts about polygyny, so on and so forth. And women will argue with you up and down, but I know I'm right, so you might as well just save it. I already done prayed about this. I heard from God on this. It says, how should a man of God that is single and on his purpose deal with this? I told you. You vet them out. You don't be in no rush. You gotta learn, you gotta learn if she got STDs. You gotta learn when the last time she had sex. You gotta learn who she's dealing with right now. You gotta learn who she hangs with, who her friends are. Because you could be walking to a pile of dog doo-doo and somebody try to put you in the trunk. Do not be telling these women what you got. If you gotta do that, then now you in whoremonger. Because if they mess with you because you got your S together, as you put it, now you're a whoremonger and she's a whore. So you don't want to go that route. You said, and I would never marry just to get consistent sex, and you're right, because you're not. All it take, if your woman is faking you out, or she just trying to rebound from other guys' stuff, yeah, she'll act good for a little while. But who she is, if she's not a unicorn, if she's not real, is going to show. The sad part about it is sometimes it takes some of them longer than others. But then you said, it's consensual sex between man and woman that like each other still sin nature. Let me tell you something. Having sexual desire is nature, not sin nature. It's sinful nature when you just say, I don't care, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and you don't go do it in a way that the Most High won't frown upon. Like I told you, keep your hands to yourself until you make commitments, until you make covenants. And the covenant had to be in your favor, not theirs. You want to be reasonable, you want to be fair, but it's not to be in their favor. They supposed to be helping you. They supposed to be your companion. That's what they were created to do. And you said, it's not sin nature to want to do it. It's sin nature if you just don't care and you just go do it however you feel like doing it. Because that's do as thou will. Do as thou will is sin nature. It says, and to digress, what about soul ties? Soul ties, I don't believe in them. But a woman does keep a man's DNA. Men don't have soul ties. They don't. You might have somebody that was a little wetter, had it going on that way, but ain't no soul tie. Not for men. A woman, if you can unzip her soul, all them dudes is gonna come out that she done messed with. Because they supposed to be one flesh. What one flesh mean is that one flesh is supposed to be your one flesh that you had your whole entire life. These women, they say, well, I let him put it in halfway, but then he ain't doing it. Guess what? Guess what? You're not a virgin. If a man is doing what he's supposed to do, why can't he enjoy sexually without a pastor saying it is sexual immorality? First of all, this is what I think of these pastors. And I'm transparent. If what they saying ain't what the Most High said in His Word, where you can put it line upon line, man, who cares? You see, that's why I ate a sausage McMuffin on a video, because you got dudes that say you go to hell for eating sausage. Let me tell you something, God ain't as petty. Maybe if you was God, people would go to hell for eating a sausage McMuffin. But you ain't. And I'm thankful for that. And I'm talking in terms of the people who say, well, you should. Yeah, listen, if you choose not to eat, remember, Noah was given the law first. That's a whole nother subject. I'm just using it as an example. You can enjoy sex. You can't stop what people say. But like I said, you don't want to be labeled as a whoremonger. Don't be trying to be no little sugar daddy. Have sex with the women you commit yourself to. And if you make them concubine and they broke, guess what? However you want them to help, you be like, well, I'm going to help you get right, but look, this is how we going to do it. Only deal with women who submit to you fully. And fully means they got to be with the polygyny if that's what you're going to practice. Don't be just saying, oh, you my concubine, and trying to run through everybody, because then you being deceptively a whoremonger. Deal with the women that you choose to commit yourself to. Don't let nobody tell you, long as they grown. Me personally, I would say 20 and up, because then they not a teenager. But, you want to deal with adult women. So, you can enjoy it, but just do it God's way. That's all it is. Not these pastors. These dudes be 68, can't even get a stiffy, and they trying to tell a bunch of young dudes with ranch sauce, that white stuff, all the way up to their brain crack. You listen to them, you in trouble anyway. The ultimate goal, you don't want to have to watch porn and jag. You want to find you some concubines that's down with you enough to make them wives. But it takes time. But you got to commit to them in that way as a concubine. And you treat them like a wife. But no marriage license. You make that commitment, have a ceremony, explain to your family and her family what's going on. No marriage license. Find you a preacher that understand this stuff, that's basically going to oversee the ceremony without vows. Don't make no vows. You don't need vows. Yes and no, and be a man of your word. Vows, all that stuff, man, the Bible tell you not to even make vows. But who's keeping score on that? So you said, please speak on that topic. Your pastor is going to go to the scripture where it says a bishop. It don't say you. It don't have your name in there. It don't have your occupation in there. That was the Apostle Paul talking to the men that will help him establish the church. It never said everybody can only have one wife. Because if that's the case, then when we look at Solomon, we could use him. I told you I was going to give you an example. He had 700 wives, 300 concubines, right? That wasn't what got Solomon in trouble. What got Solomon in trouble, and if the video cut off because I can't see my time because I need my charger. What got Solomon in trouble was he let them turn his heart away from the Most High. See, it didn't matter how many wives he got. The head of the man is still the Most High. So they don't dictate nothing to you. They say, well, I want to practice witchcraft. All right, you dismiss. Get on out of here. Like you say, you got your ass together, get it together even more. And when you start dealing with these women, you deal with them from a king standpoint. You ain't the queen, you the king. And you never go by love. Love should grow. You don't deal with women based on that. You deal with them based on you being a man and them being women. Because I can tell you firsthand, when you try to deal with them other ways, you creating a monster. So he got in trouble for letting them turn his heart away. Same thing with King David, his father. When Saul died, the Most High, and this is in 2 Samuel chapter 12, gave King David all 8 or 9, whichever one it was, Saul's wives. David, I think it was 8. David, that wasn't enough. He was lusting after Bathsheba or whatever her name was. So he set her husband up because he knew he couldn't have her and still be in good standing with God. Because you can't mess with another man's wife and be in good standing with God. Don't let them preachers fool you. All y'all preachers, you messing with another man's wife, stop lying. Whoremongers and adulterers, he will judge. That's why when my sauce build up, I take matters into my own hand. I ain't gonna go deal with nobody's wife. I ain't gonna go and pay up front. At least that's the plan. So David wanted to deal with his wife, so he thought he found a loophole. But then the Most High sent the prophet, Nathan the prophet, say, man, you wasn't supposed to do that. You wrong for that. And the Most High gonna judge you. David was being judgmental, but he was talking about him the whole time. Go read it, 2 Samuel 12. 2 Samuel 12, anybody that tell you polygyny is not of God, go tell them to go read 2 Samuel 12. And there's more scriptures than that. If they want more, we can give them more. But these pastors be catering to these women, so they want to stick police, we'll call it. They want to be stick police. They want to police your stick. Well, that's sexual immorality. Man, let me show you something. Sexual immorality is whoremongering, adultery, all uncommitted sexual activity. But if she's your concubine, you need to get on your knees, say, okay, learn what a concubine is, explain it to her. If she's willing to do it, you get on your knees and you present your relationship to God. That's what they used to do in biblical times. A lot of these women single, and I just shredded a woman trying to debate about this whole thing. I said, y'all pushing this monogamy, talking about you don't want to share, but none of your ancestors, that ain't how they even did things. So that's how you do that. And the women who are your concubines, you stick to them. You stick to them. You don't have more than you can handle, and you make sure that they get along with each other. If you get you one to start. Get you one. See, women, they want this control, this power. Listen, when you don't let a man become your one flesh, first of all, if he ain't the first one that put any part of his stick in you, how is you trying to practice monogamy? Your one flesh you already dealt with your one flesh. So the one flesh after that, if a woman is not a virgin, the one flesh represents the continual reminder of the covenant. So when she starts going like not giving you none, she's breaking the covenant. And you could divorce her if you married. If you not, dump. If both of y'all names on the lease, hey, you better figure something out, because these women will start stuff and call the police, and now you in a mess. Like sometimes some of y'all might just need to get your stuff when she ain't around and leave. And when she call you, tell her, hey, that ain't gonna work. You gotta put your foot down with these women. If they not physically sick, the only time they shouldn't be giving you none, guaranteed, is when they physically sick or they on their period. You don't have sex with a woman on her period. If you want to have sex, take matters in your own hand. Or the better method, just practice self-control. Sex is better when you know how to control yourself anyway. So I'm pretty sure I answered your question. You got to be careful with these pastors. These pastors, people be asking me, are you a Christian? I don't claim Christianity, because the people who believed what I believed, they wasn't going around saying they was Christian. They was just saying, I believe in the God of the universe. Or whatever their language was, that's what they was saying. So I hope I answered that. Shout out to Charisma 808. Listen, guys, let's do this thing the right way. Control yourself. Be king. King. Don't let them talk about your height, your financial status, any of that. If you got the wing ding and a pair of nuts, and you deal with them, you're a king. If they don't see you that way, you don't deal with them. Simple as that. If you married, your wife don't want to see you that way, find out when, where, and how you gonna get rid of her, because she's not your wife. Especially when I'm not giving you none. Well, you not my wife. Get out of here. And I'm showing no sympathy. None. Well, I'm going to take you for everything you got. You only going to take me for what you know. Guys, I'm not scared of what's in jail for me to be scared of. It's just a place I don't want to go. But I'm not finna be no woman's slave because I didn't know what was going on back in that day. Y'all know now because y'all got people like me and others to tell you, no marriage license. Deal with them from a king standpoint. They say, yeah, but you ugly though. Oh, you think I'm ugly? Okay. Click, block, don't talk to them no more. Deal with women who don't think you ugly. You call me ugly, I'm not dealing with you. You're an enemy. Who told you to say that? The devil? Don't deal with women who look down on you, man. Deal with the ones who gonna get with your program. Yeah, but this, yeah, but F you. It was there. We'll just say forget you. If you ain't down with me where I'm at right now, if you got a problem with where I'm at right now, if you're not gonna help me get where I'm going, shut the bleepity bleep up and get out of my face before it be some problems. I'll call the police on you, man. Call the police. I'm defending the police, but in some situations, it goes from defend the police to F the police. I ain't gonna stop being a man. And when the cops come, I'm just gonna respect them. Hey man, listen, hey, listen. But before I get to all that, know who you dealing with, know how to vet, know how to catch these broads up in their lives. I still be catching the one on paper up in lies. When you start catching them up in lies, they're gonna be mad at you, and all they can really do is be distant, talk to other dudes. If you bring another dude to my house, I'm guaranteeing you I'm knocking him the bleep out just for coming to my house. And if I can't knock him out, I'm shooting him. And it's castle law. I feel threatened. But you don't want to get to all of that. You want to get away from her before all of that. Because a lot of women, when they know that they ain't getting nowhere with you, they gonna try to, if they're a jealous person, they can say they not jealous. But if they're a jealous-hearted, bitter person, they gonna try to mess you over. Because like Coach Greg say, some of these women, and he got a video today that I ain't watched yet. It's crazy how Libras think alike. He talking about ex-wives and girlfriends, how evil some of them can be. You want to get away from them before this point, because especially if they not cooking, if they not cleaning, if they not having sex with you, why are they there? They there to cause havoc and trouble. That's all they gonna do. No woman should be arguing with her man more than she's doing her helpful deeds. And that's all I'm gonna say, man. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. We'll see y'all later with more videos.